Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, Ken. I am very well. How are you?
Well, I shouldn't complain.
No, and we should make mention that we were AWOL last week
Yeah,
because
it was a busy
I
week.
was really busy and you were really busy and we couldn't get together.
So, as an aside, a personal aside, I I had two half loads of dirt put in my truck,
Okay.
and I actually put tarp under it, hoping it would not go into all the crevices.
Right.
But that doesn't happen. And so when I finished shoveling by hand a load of topsoil on different places of my lawn, of course, the bed door now wouldn't open because dirt got in there.
Right.
So long story short, I go to the what's it called?
High pressure car wash?
And it's really hard to clean out a bed of dirt without getting a lot of it on you.
Yeah.
I
That's why
spray, I mean,
you put your grubbies on there, Ken.
well, but it doesn't protect your face, but God sprayed it. Anyway, so when you ask me how I am this morning, I was at the car wash trying, which is, by the way, not a very good movie. I just want to say that.
It's a great movie. Richard Pryor and George Carlin are in it, for Christ's sake.
And it's better than Shakespeare in
Better than
Love.
Shakespeare.
Definitely
Love.
deserved that
So,
movie.
hint for the future. Rather than go to the high pressure car wash and use water, do you have a leaf blower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would have been good.
Leaf blower with the tailgate down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be.
I think after you get the most out you can with a broom or whatever, then you go leaf blower, and I think you stay dry that
Although
way.
that dirt was really pretty solid dirt. I'm not sure,
I
but
try, Ken. You're difficult to try to help.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay,
You're
so when you
difficult.
ask me how I'm doing, other than
You're
that,
fucking difficult, period.
I went to the driving range yesterday. I think I worked out what I was doing wrong with my golf swing. We'll see next time I play golf if I ever get out and play golf again.
Do
So,
you do you know how many times you and I have both uttered that phrase?
well, I have to say the one who's most famous is John Baldacci, who will say to me all the time, "I figured it out, figured it
Yeah,
out," and
yeah.
then there he is on the side trying to figure it out yet
You have
again.
a better chance of figuring out the meaning of life than figuring out your. By the way, do you notice anything different about me?
Are those new glasses?
No.
Your hair
No.
shaved?
Yes. It's my
There's
end.
something I could have put my finger on it.
It's my spring cleaning. I do it every mid-May.
I forgot you had a beard on before
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Enough about
All
our
right,
personal
all right.
grooming.
Donald Trump.
Yes.
Go on. How do you think that trial's going?
You and I have talked before we started recording here. All it takes is one Trump
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
and that's the end of that. This is a come on, Ken. This is a joke of a
Well,
trial.
hold on a second. I think he's absolutely guilty. I just think it's going to be hard for
Guilty of what?
of falsifying documents to pay hush money. You cannot you look. You can say I am paying this person $125,000 so she won't say anything to anybody, but you can't disguise it as campaign financing, and you can't falsify your business records to cover up the expense. He's expensing it out as an expense, as a business expense. It's like I'm paying my secretary, I expense that on my taxes. I
Hey,
can't.
Hunter Biden did it. Why can't Donald Trump do it?
This is where you guys always go. Hunter Biden is not the president of the United States. Donald Trump was. It's not the same thing as like talking about Jimmy Carter's brother, for God's sake. Enough. You listen. Donald Trump is a crook. He has screwed more people financially than any individual known to humankind in Atlantic City and New York City. He's known for that. We know that. He doesn't pay his bills. He waits till they sue him. Then he settles 50 cents on the dollar. You may call that good business. I don't know. He lied. He falsified his records to get loans, and he falsifies his records to pay less taxes. That's what he
Yeah,
does.
and all and he paid her money, whatever amount it was, and for hush money. How'd that work out? You're better off to keep the money and just let things happen
Exactly. And why
as
he
they.
thought that would cost him the election is
I
beyond
know, and
comprehension.
And why he felt like he had to put the wood to her is totally beyond me. I mean, I know Tiger Woods has had a thing with porn stars, but that's I mean, I don't know. When we start getting this deep into someone's personal lives, we're getting way too deep. So let's leave that behind. And your boy Joe Biden has issued a challenge. Ken, have you heard the
Yeah,
Biden challenge to Donald
yeah.
Trump?
He wants to debate him.
All right, let's listen.
Donald Trump lost two debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. Let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Now, the thing about
Hey,
that,
you know what the Wednesday thing was, don't you?
yes, court.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen the actual video of that. There are 6 or 7. It took 6 or 7 different edit cuts to get Joe Biden to be able to go through 14 seconds of his message. There is no way in hell that his people can really want him to debate Donald Trump, right?
Here's the issue. I think the Biden camp at least believes that there's a serious risk that Donald Trump will get reelected. So what is his choice? I mean, every time Donald Trump gets charged with something, he goes up in the polls. Every time he gets in trouble, he goes up in the polls. So if you're gonna assume that a conviction is gonna hurt his chances, forget it. So what choice does Joe Biden have? He's either the 6 swing states, he's behind in all 6 of the states.
Yep.
So what the hell? What is
Hey,
Biden have to lose?
Ken, the basement strategy of 2020 worked for Joe Biden during COVID and all that
Right?
stuff.
Exactly.
That's the only way this is going to work again. Unless you have the most controlled debate environment in the history of debates, there is no way that Joe Biden can successfully debate Donald Trump. It would be an absolute massacre.
Let me remind you of something. Sarah Palin. The same thing was said by Sarah Palin when she debated Joe Biden. She's going to get slaughtered.
Yeah, but she didn't suffer from dementia, Ken.
He doesn't have
He
dementia.
does, Ken. When are you going to give up the ghost and admit that this man is deep into dementia?
He does not have dementia. Look, he never was articulate, Mike. He never was
He
articulate.
could articulately bullshit with the best of them. Believe me, his brain is fried. And that's why he never, a presidential press conference. What's that? We haven't had one of those.
Jimmy Carter did the Rose Garden strategy too. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think that is a smart move. I don't think he has a choice.
It's a smart move to keep him away from the media, absolutely, because he can't put a thought together.
I think you may be surprised, but you know what? I don't think he has anything to lose.
I want to see, and if I'm Donald Trump, bring it on, Joey boy. Let's get it on.
I think he may do it, but don't underestimate Joe Biden and don't overestimate Donald Trump.
He's a dementia suffering pervert who likes to sniff little girls.
Oh
Come on, admit it.
What is Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is also a perv of the highest order in his own way. At least I know he has talked about his daughter, but at least he hasn't showered with her yet. So,
well, he certainly has said he wants to. All right. So now
I know you are, but what am I?
let's talk about Janet Mills. So
okay,
what do you think about the certified bills? I mean, this was I assume you agree with her.
You know what? I honestly don't really pay any attention to the legislature anymore because, well, I don't have to. But let me try to get up to speed here. Apparently on Friday, there was a whole day of voting and negotiating and sitting and waiting. And somebody, I think it was Representative Laurel Libby, the Republican shot video of Rachel Talbot Ross, the speaker, and her chief aide trying to get into the Blaine house to talk to at night to try to talk to Janet Mills, and they wouldn't let her in. And finally,
I'm not sure that I agree with Janet Mills entirely that day can't be used to pass legislation. Saying as a general rule, they don't do this on that day. Yeah, okay, they've done it before. But on the other hand, she stuck to her guns on it. I thought that was pretty interesting.
But you guys have got the Blaine House, you've got the Senate, and you've got the House. And, I can't see anything that anybody of those three different areas agrees on, and really got anything done. Each one of them is their own special, in their own special way, is a pain in the ass. And apparently they all don't get along with each other, which is kind of just politics, isn't it? Because how many times did I talk to you back in 10 when LePage won the Blaine House and Bob Nutting was the speaker, and I forget who the Senate president was, and they couldn't do it either. So neither side governs very
Yeah,
well.
and it's a little surprising. I was a little confused, which happens when you have dementia, you know.
Well,
And
you are 70.
of course, 71, please.
Are you
And
one? Oh,
71,
that's right.
yeah,
Two's coming up. Sorry.
it's okay. So it's not a pocket veto because I mean, why does it not become law if she doesn't sign it? I mean, usually if you pass legislation and the governor doesn't veto it, it becomes a law. I'm not exactly sure. I understand why they can't become law because she's not doing anything.
Well, ask your buddy John Baldacci.
Oh, it's a good question. I may ask him that. They'll report back here next week.
Let's bring him in as a consultant next time.
All right, so let's move on to Sheriff Wainwright. Do
Yes, in Oxford County, beautiful Oxford County.
you agree with the decision of Janet Mills based on, I guess, Justice Alexander's advisory opinion that he should keep his job and not be removed from office?
Well, I think when you're talking about an elected official, you need to be really careful and tread lightly there. Did he break the law? I think he didn't break the law. Did he use some questionable tactics here and there? Yes. Have these, I'm not forgiving it, not saying it's right or wrong, but this kind of stuff in the inner workings of whether it's law enforcement or government itself, this kind of stuff goes on all over the time, all the time. And if we're going to remove everybody who there's even a suspicion about this happening with, we're probably going to have special elections every day.
Well, look, it's unseemly, but your first point that he's elected, the right way to remove somebody from an election is to remove him by
Recall
recall. I don't think you should fire him unless he did something. I mean, trying to talk your deputy into, not prosecuting a ticket. Yeah, I'm sure that never happens. I mean, some of the things he did was a little, I mean, selling.
You can't believe some of the stuff I used to hear that went on in Waterville back in the day. When my ex-wife was the assistant finance director for the city, working right there in City Hall, all of the stuff, John Morris was the police chief, Paul LePage was the the mayor, excuse me, all the shenanigans I used to hear about. I mean, they would all be thrown out of office.
So I think the right answer is if you don't like what the sheriff did, recall him.
Right.
Wait till the next election. And
look, we often talk about the will of the people. People are stupid when it comes to voting,
yes,
but
they are.
they have the right to be stupid. And if they think that this Sheriff Wainwright, is a bad boy, then recall them.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a certain Kansas City kicker who
Harrison Butker
gave a commencement speech.
Yes.
What an imbecile. I don't care. I don't care what you say. He's an imbecile. I mean, the guy's a Neanderthal, as you have been accused of being many times in your lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a compassionate caveman, but he delivered this speech. It was the Benedictine College graduation ceremony. And he decried various diabolical lies told to women about topics including abortion, vitro fertilization, and surrogacy, as well as President Biden. And he talked about Taylor Swift.
He quotes Taylor Swift, but
who,
I
of course, is going out with his teammate Travis Kelce.
I would not think that Taylor Swift is how he would describe the ideal mate. So it's a little curious how he would quote her.
Yeah, here's the money quote. When it comes to women, quote, "Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world," end quote. So is that so crazy to think that women,
I think it's
especially those in attendance, would feel like that?
I think it's a stereotype that may not be true anymore. I think in the 1950s, sure. I don't think most women think that the most fulfilling thing they could possibly do is have children. I'm not saying it's not fulfilling to have children, but I think most women today don't feel satisfied or complete by just staying home, being a homemaker, being a wife, and being a mother. I think I listen, I do a lot of divorce cases. And let me tell you something. Most of the women that have spent their lives being homemakers, husbands, wives, and mothers haven't struck me as being the most. Now, I'm not saying having a successful career, that's not for everybody either. But I think that there is more to life than being a homemaker. And I think that women, to say in general, women would find the most satisfaction as being a mother and a homemaker. That's somebody who's been indoctrinated to believe that. I don't believe that's true.
Well, they're religious. So having laid down that groundwork, this was done at a religious Christian college. Consider the audience. He's not talking to you and me or Linda or my daughter or he's talking to the women at this graduation ceremony who probably have very like-minded thoughts and have husbands, boyfriends, whatever, who feel the very same way. I'm sure that they are dictated by scripture, which is fine. You know me, I'm as anti-religion. You want to be religious, great. I don't want to. You want to live by a certain way, great, as long as you can leave me alone and I can leave you alone. But Butker, I mean, we've got, he should be suspended and
he has the right to say whatever he wants. People have the right to say whatever they want about him. I believe in open free speech. He can say he can get up and give a speech about how everybody should be white supremacists for all I care. I believe in free speech. But if you're going to comment about my view of him as a human being having those values, and I can be judgmental. People are judgmental about my values. People are judgmental that I am pro-choice, right? I mean, we can make judgments about everybody. I think he is a Neanderthal, and he is stereotyping women, and he is living in the dark ages. I don't think that what he describes as the most satisfying thing to women are necessarily true for most women, maybe most religious women. And I dare say, I'm going to want to see the state of his marriage in 10 years.
Well, I don't think he said, I think he said most of you in context of the people, the women who were there. I don't think he's talking about society in general. And I think when you say what you just said, you should qualify it by saying some women, not most women. I've gotten in trouble many times. Most people, I never say that.
I agree.
So let's just.
I want to see where his marriage is in 10 years. That's
Are you licensed in Missouri?
Let's see how happy she is 10 years from now.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Unfortunately, I'll probably be dead in 10 years. So
let's hope.
I want you to remember this 10 years from now. And if she's filed for divorce or he's taken off with a cheerleader, okay, I want you to say, well, Ken did mention.
Yep. Ken said, I told you so.
Okay. So let's see. 2 other topics, transgenders in Maine.
Yes.
What do you think about the kind of the new policy that it's a case-by-case decision whether or not to allow transgender individuals to play on boy or girls teams?
If you have a penis, you should play on the boys team.
But if you don't have a penis,
if you have a vagina, you should play on the girls team.
But if you don't have what if your penis?
All right, then let's narrow it down to chromosomes, okay?
But there's a lot of deviations in even DNA and chromosomes.
Not really. You're either an X or a Y.
What? Well, there's people who have 2 X's. They're generally criminals, but there are XX and Y people. Here's the thing. Once again, it is a solution without a problem. Okay. And by the way, it's interesting. I thought that the website story about it was about a transgender woman to man. Do you have any problem with a woman to man competing with men if he wants to do that?
Yeah, you're not a man.
Who cares? If you think you're a man, if you mentally are a man, if you're emotionally.
Obviously, it's a two-way street, no pun intended. The huge, obviously, difference is when men all of a sudden say that they're women and want to compete with women, and there is a kid who is referenced in the story. that's where you run into issues. And it's not so much the other way around. I just think,
They
was it that
say the percentage of the population
I
transgender
don't care. I don't care about the percentage.
two out of 100 people. It's a solution without a problem. Leave
But
them alone. Let them be what they are.
you have a penis or X chromosome boy. If you have a vagina, Y chromosome girl.
And that applies to being gay. If you have a penis, you should not be putting a penis in another guy. Hey, that's not normal. That's not natural. That's not natural selection. What are you doing? You can't procreate that way.
Well, I know that.
So I think we should execute all the gay people in the world according to that theory because they're all
Well, that is
perverts and deviants.
there you go again, as Ronald Reagan so famously once said, going way off the reservation.
Let people be what they
That-
identify
That
as.
is stupid. You're talking about apples and manhole covers here.
Why not
Get
let
out.
people be what they identify as?
Go ahead. Just don't run a race against them or swim against them or try to play tennis against them or anything like that.
You know what? I'll point out again that swimmer from the University of Pennsylvania, when he played in the NCAA national championships, he came in last
Good.
against women. So there.
So Caitlin Clark only plays basketball against women, and she played in her first ever WNBA game last night. It was a bit of a struggle. Did you see the crowd in Connecticut? They lost to
85,000 people.
Yeah, to the Connecticut Sun, the Indiana Fever. The final was 92-71. She played 32 minutes, had 20 points, but she had 10 turnovers in the game. That's the most in a WNBA debut in history. And of course, some people are very happy about that, considering they're saying that Caitlin Clark's debut was a failure because they want her to fail. Why? Because she's white.
So first of all, if you remember the Connecticut game in the NCAA, she started out very poorly in the first half. She threw the ball away a number of times. I mean, she had a bad day. Okay,
It's one game.
Right. Number one. Number two, we got to get off this black and white thing. I mean, I agree with you.
Luck.
I agree with you, but you know what? I don't see black and white in the WNBA. She has black teammates. She has white teammates. She had a bad day. She still scored the most points for the team.
Oh, I know. Look, she had a tough night. I'm sure she was extremely nervous, even as great as she is and as composed as she has been. There's a lot riding on this young woman. She is the savior for the league. Since she has signed on board, the WNBA announced that they are now having charter flights for all their players.
Yeah.
They're selling out this huge arena, and she's going to sell out everywhere. Every home in Indiana. There's a lot, right? So there's a lot of pressure on her, and she is going to be fine. This shall pass.
Great records if she stays healthy.
This girl is not going to turn the ball over 10 times in a game, probably ever again. So,
and I suspect if you ask your teammates, they'll say, she had a bad night. It happens.
Let's just say this. She's going to have far less nights like last night, as opposed to you continuing to say that you have found the kink in your golf swing and have fixed it. That's going to be a continuing narrative until the day they throw the last shovel of dirt on you, and that's never going to end. Caitlin Clark's not going to turn the ball over 10 times again.
I would like my tombstone to say he finally got it.
But it's not going to be like Bobby Knight said, I want to be buried with my ass sticking out of the ground so my critics can kiss it.
Bobby Knight, wow. All right, anything else you want to report? Or are we all done for the day?
I think we covered it all, my friend.
Okay, so next week, same bat channel, same bat time.
You nailed it.
All right, bud, we'll talk to you soon.
Later.